Well, now we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Oh,
In a moment. Da, 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 da. We're on the audio bus. People can hear us. Sorry. Private joke. Welcome to everyone on Facebook and YouTube. We are about to go live on TikTok too. It's a Wednesday, not
yes.
Monday. How are you, Karen?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Not too bad at all. Yes, it's been a busy few days, but I'm all right. I'm still sitting here. I'm still standing, so to speak. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
There's a song in that, isn't
I
there?
know. Huh?
Karen's still standing. Well. Yeah, I'm all right actually. It's been a busy couple of days. Lots going on. Been talking a lot about the Celestine prophecies.
Ooh, interesting.
Didn't realise there was a video. So what we do get to say is we're live on TikTok now. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. So yes, we are now live across everything. Welcome along. But yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days. I'll be honest with you, there's been so much going on. It feels like a lifetime since we saw each other on Monday. I'm not going to deny it's been absolutely weird.
Yeah.
I haven't decorated anything in here yet. I haven't had chance. But I am, of course, joined by Conti, who's hanging around in the background.
Good. I'm pleased to see he's still with us.
He is. I've given him a little bit of his own platform because he wasn't high enough. So he now has his own platform, which is a box. I'm not gonna lie, it's a box. He's on a box. But yeah, it's good to be back, to be let loose with my good friend Karen. So there we are, and wow, the comments are already starting.
They are, yes.
Thank you, darling. Yes, that's perfect. We didn't even need to tell Richard it was too small. It's that old person thing. We've got somebody with us, Richard. Hello, Christine Davis. Good morning to you. Streaming live on TikTok there.
Yes, we are live on TikTok, and it's taken a lot, but Richard, being the clever man that he is, has sussed it out behind the scenes, as we knew he would, because he loves a challenge.
Yeah.
Now we're all over social media. Isn't that wonderful?
We are. Who would have thunk it a year ago that we'd be saying we're live on TikTok too?
I know. Good morning, Terry. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you.
Morning, my love. So yeah, it's so strange and really cool at the same time. But I would never have believed it, to be honest with you. But there you go. You never know what's around the corner, do you?
I know, and we've got new. We're looking at new screens, so we've got
different, isn't it?
It's all very techy, isn't it? It's all very techy. Hello, Melvin Peters. Lovely to see you. And there's lots of chats going on TikTok as well. They're quite a chatty bunch on TikTok. They are.
Yes. Particularly in relation to the audio bus. Vic Olive, hi there, welcome along. So whilst the conversation goes on about the audio on TikTok, because there's some things, and there are some things you can't do until you're literally doing it.
Yes.
There are things that you cannot understand or fix or deal with or know are going to happen until you actually just do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it does relate to understanding, doesn't it? We was talking beforehand and you said understanding, what an interesting theme.
Yes.
And it seems to be snowballing.
Good morning, Eunice. Lovely to see you. Oops, wrong show.
You have just brightened my day. Oops. Well, now it's time for you to be let loose, Eunice.
Yes.
Knowing Eunice.
We're let loose and dangerous this morning.
Absolutely. And knowing Eunice should be very good at that. You want your darling. And it's Kelly Rocket. G'day, gang. So good
Hello,
evening to
Kelly.
you, my lovely.
Understanding is a good word, I think. It really is a good word, because sometimes, and I'm just going to use this as an example, when Nick and Richard talk technology, they're talking in their own speak, and they're talking all the techno speak. And I sit there and I look, I've got this glazed expression on my face, and I'm thinking they could be speaking Swedish, Spanish, and I don't know what they mean. But then when they look at me and they see this glazed expression, and then they have to explain it in a different sort of language, in layman's terms, so that I understand.
Yes.
So I think in life, and especially mediumship, spiritualism is a big case in point.
Yeah.
Because you go into the spiritualist churches and they say, are they spirit side or earth plane? Have they passed, or are they still on the earth plane? And you think, what? What? Pardon? Well, I've got a granddad who's dead. And then a gasp. This is years ago, a gasp.
Yeah.
You said the D word.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I remember when that was severely. I mean, it's still quite frowned upon now,
Yes.
but not in the same way. But you're absolutely right that there was a huge frown. You're not allowed to say the D word.
No.
Hello to Mother.
Hello, Linda. Oh, she's
Who
having
needs a new
problems with
laptop.
her
And
tech.
I have seen, of course, Kaza and Serendipity 589 who have joined us as well. So hello to all of you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There was huge frownings when it came to the D word. And it's
Yes.
funny you should say what you said, because I did an online debate. Once a month, we just come together and have a philosophical debate.
Good
Um,
idea. Yeah.
and this time it was about karma.
Mm.
And because spirituality has adopted karma as part of its general usage,
Yeah.
but also because karma is based in Asian mythologies and traditions and ways of life,
Yeah.
there are many different viewpoints and many different explanations as
Yes.
to what karma and balance is. And it was really, really quite telling. And what I find is when I mean, I was fine yesterday, I had a good bunch with me, but there are some people, if you suggest, well, actually, if you're going to use the word karma, you should really understand the origins behind it.
Yes.
I've had my head ripped off for that. Well, no, that doesn't exist in my reality. No, I'm sorry, we all exist in the same reality.
Mm.
Don't use the term reality. And this is something that's really one of my bugbears, and I know it's quite popular at the moment. And I know I'm probably going to make myself very unpopular. But one of my bugbears is that doesn't exist in my reality. What we're saying is actually Conti is well. Oh, Victoria, Conti is well.
Hello,
He's got this little
Victoria.
platform. Um, when people are saying that doesn't exist in my reality, what they mean is it doesn't exist from my perspective, which is a
Yes.
completely different thing.
Yes.
And we should be more clear and honest about what it is that we're actually saying, because certain words can lead to very, very, very different opinions and viewpoints. And let's face it, to someone coming into this way of life, it's blooming confusing.
It is. It's very confusing, and it was for me. I can remember hearing all this terminology and thinking, what the hell is everybody talking about? And because we assume that people understand, and they
Yeah,
don't. And I
yeah,
think, that's why I always try, in whatever I do in my teaching, is to keep it simple,
yeah,
because otherwise people get confused and they don't understand what you're talking about.
yeah,
And, you know, when people say, oh, it's karma, well, is it? I mean, what do they mean?
Yeah.
just because, you know, sometimes people say, oh, that's happened because it's karma, or when they say, oh, there's loads of things that people say, and I think, are they just saying it, or do they understand why they're saying it?
Yeah, and I actually loved, was it Serendipity's comment?
Yeah, she put something up. No,
Just a second ago. Yeah, not sure. Thank you.
thank you,
Bless him.
Richard.
He's doing. People can say what they like about Richard, but he can definitely multitask. Because on one side of the screen, he's fixing the audio, echoing TikTok, and on the other side, he's listening to us and putting the comment back up. Thank you, darling. Not sure I believe in karma, but I believe in karma in the here and now. If you do something bad or stupid, you get affected because you're watering your negativity seeds. I absolutely love your comment, and I'm with you. Believe it or not all processes in relation to the understanding of karma is about past lives, because karma goes hand in hand with past lives, because it comes from the Hindu tradition and the Buddhist way of life.
Yes.
But people do use karma. I mean, we've all heard a phrase that I'm not allowed to say, otherwise we'd get booted off TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. But a description of what karma can be like. That is in the here and now, and there are many schools of teaching within the Hindu faith that says that karma is about psychological and physical. Karma literally means action. In Sanskrit, the word karma means action. And interestingly enough, there's a specific type of karma that is a record of everything that is, was, and will be, and is basically identical to the Akashic records. So I'm actually with you, Serendipity. I believe that karma is more about the moment, and I know I'm a broken record, and I know that people are going to be sick and tired of hearing me say it, but I genuinely do not believe that any karmic interference can come from a loving being or energy or creation to affect and influence us in any kind of negative way. And there's a lot of usage of karma in relation to negativity.
Yes.
I don't believe that if we've forgotten something, we would have to suffer because of it in the here and now. I can't, that doesn't compute with my spirituality and my perspective of spirituality. Not my reality.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Nick, because when people say, oh, it's karma, I think they're just saying it sometimes because it's something to say. Or I believe that if we go through some tough times, and believe you me, we all do, it's what happens in this life. We go through ups, we go through downs, we go through some balance, and we go through some amazing times. But I think that, you know, when we go through these tough times, if we go through some tough times, I think that, you know, it's up to us. It's up to us whether we learn from it, and sort of when something similar comes around again, that we think, hang on a minute, you know, what didn't I do, or what should I do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely does. Serendipity. I reckon my tortoise is my rabbit reincarnated. Yeah, I've again, because of my views on look how professional Karen is tuning Richard singing. You know, absolutely well done by Richard, Karen. Now you all get to know what it's like. You know, when you can hear that, you can understand how we are experiencing. But when it comes to reincarnation, I actually don't say that it doesn't exist. I just say that we've interpreted it differently. I hope nobody could hear that one.
Morning, Chess Fairy.
Morning, Chess Fairy. Right.
You know, that could be.
Whilst Nick, I'm thinking about something round and dangling.
That could be a whole different a whole show on that one. So
Absolutely. So we do have to be careful. But when it comes to reincarnation, it's from the perspective of what I've learned and seen from spirit. We're actually remembering what we did in the spirit world through the eyes of the person that we've helped. So, of course, you are going to spiritually and within your soul blame yourself if something goes awry. But that's again, karma, I believe, is in your control and in your influence. And it's not something that should be used as a cosh.
yeah,
And Eunice's comment was absolutely right. And I don't need to see it again to know exactly what she said, because I know from the first word as it flashed past, it's about boxes and separating and putting things into specific views. We can't do that within spiritualism and spirituality. We've got to be a little bit more open to the possibility.
yeah.
My Zen master doesn't believe in reincarnation, Serendipity said. Absolutely. Um, I believe Denise Porter Gardner says, I believe that hurting someone intentionally, karma will prevail. I believe that we are the masters of karma. Nick never knows what he's talking about, Richard, just in case anyone heard that. I do believe that karma is an energetic field, just like all of our thoughts are an energetic field. And we can put out our intentions into the universe, and we should focus on the positive. And, you know, one of the things that I love about other ways of life, in particular, one of my sorry, that's karma in action. One of the things that I absolutely think that we should always remember is that we have a really, really positive influence on the world. And I think karma is used to describe and explain away negative situations. I certainly think that when it comes to the spirit world, they can absolutely have an impact on those that have done us dirty, and will try and help them find a lesson. But again, there's intention with that. And the way I see karma is that as I said yesterday, it's like a liquid. It's always trying to find a level playing field, a balance, a peace, a rest, a calm. And if you push against it, it's going to move that direction, but it's also going to rebound and come back. That's not punishment or repercussion. That's just life. And in actual fact, dare I say it, at the risk of upsetting Eunice, that's also science.
Do you know what, you've mentioned a word a couple of times, intention, you know, and it is your intention that paves the way in whatever we do in life, if you think about it. Because if we have the intention to maybe get some jobs done in the morning and not get distracted by whatever we get distracted by, and if we set, right, today I'm going to do this, and even if we set just one thing to do, because sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves.
Yes.
We think, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this. My lovely partner, Mike, is a case in point. He says, right, today I'm going to do it. He lists about 6 jobs. And I know, because I know him, he'll only get about 2 or 3 done.
Yeah.
Because other things come into play in the day. And sometimes in life, do you remember, Nick, there was that program called 7 Up. Have you ever seen it? It started back
Yes.
64, I think it was, and they reviewed everybody every 7 years, because there's, I think it was Aristotle's quote, if you show me a boy at 7, I'll show you the man.
Yes.
I sort of watched it. I mean, it started before I started watching the telly, but I sort of picked up on it because my mum and dad used to watch it, and so I followed it, and it was great to see the kids. I'm going to do this, and there was certain things that they that their parents set in stone for them, you know, because of the way they lived, the schools that they went to, and it was fascinating because sometimes things, you set that intention. I'm going to be a jockey. I want to be a lawyer. I want to do this. So you set that intention and you start on your journey. But sometimes other things get in the way, or you change and you evolve. And I think we forget that. We forget that we're evolving and changing all the time. So what you wanted to do when you were younger, I mean, I wanted to be an air hostess, but you know, I'm not. But I love travel. But all these things sometimes can change along the way, because you grow and you evolve. But it is the intention, maybe just to live a good life, or to travel, or to have children. So that comes into play with other things as well. So sometimes life can travel on the road that you want it to. But also I think we have to, if we definitely want that, then we have to steer our own course, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I loved Seven Up actually. I excuse me. I first came to know about it when I was doing GCSE sociology.
Yeah.
And even after I left school, I kept watching because
Yes.
it was really, really
Yeah.
cool. I have to say, Victoria Witcher, your comment I saw after I did the whole bit. So this is the thing. I think everyone is kind of on a same page. It's just that sometimes we like to add our own stuff to it. And unfortunately, if we add our own stuff to it, we pass it on.
Mm.
And when we do that, other people will pick up on that and hear that and miss the original meaning. I mean, that happens to every way of life. If I talk about, Christianity, for example, that's definitely a Christmas tree that's had a lot of stuff hung on, but it's by no means on its own, because all do everything we do. There will always be that pushback, as you said, but you're absolutely right. When it comes to Seven Up, what it tells us that yes, there are things that influence us, but occasionally we have to remember that we are part of that influence too.
Absolutely. I just want to go, well done, Linda, because your mum put a comment up about she only got what she wanted to do at 60. And do you know what? You're never too old. I just want to say,
Absolutely.
go Linda, because she did it. And that's,
Go on, Mum.
you do it. And that's the most, she said, I've done it. It doesn't matter what age you do it, as long as you do what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Of course, we believe and we think that the sound is sorted. So we can now say that the comments are coming in on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And this isn't Monday, so you've not got to wait until the end for readings. We will be giving readings all the way
We
through.
will, but I have to.
Um,
I have to say, there's a funny chat going on at the moment. Something about lettuce.
that's the tortoise.
Oh,
I've
I
managed to
see.
because we've got two conversation streams now, my friends.
I know. Yes,
In
it's
order
very
to
difficult.
balance off,
Yes.
we've got the TikTok stream because we've got no control. Oh, it's actually a weed.
Oh,
Or have I come in halfway through the conversation? I was following the conversation about the tortoise, and I thought that lettuce was
well, they were talking about lamb's lettuce, so there you go. Anyway.
Right. Okay. So I've got really, really confused there. So I'll just say, Simon Richmiller, good morning. And thank you, Tony. I enjoy the talks as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good. So,
Mum got an NVQ level 4 in dementia care when she was 6.
fantastic, Linda. That's
Um,
amazing. Yes,
oh,
lamb's lettuce is the weed. There you go.
lamb's lettuce is a
You
weed.
learn.
Yeah.
I like that. I didn't know that it was a
So
weed.
getting back on track, I'm assuming that that's what the tortoise has been eating.
Yes, I
I
think
might be
it was.
completely wrong on that again.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Do you
Oh,
know
it's
what?
a good job we don't need to
SP
read to be able to talk to people.
SPTV family, I love you. because, you know, we've got all these different conversations going, and we've got lots going on. Everybody's on TikTok as well.
Yeah,
There's Ella569. There's I think people have, do you know what, it's multitasking day today.
it
And
is.
we're getting very ticky. Okay, so tomorrow I'll just let you, while everybody's on and the sound's okay. Tomorrow on Thursday at 6 o'clock, we have Jordan Richards will be on SPTV on his show, and then at 8 o'clock on Thursday, Paul Bannister will be on SPTV with his special guest David Trainer. So
Oh, it's
tune in to those two shows, because you know, and especially listening to David Trainer. So there you go. There you go.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
something for your diary to, or to circle on your calendar. Jordan at 6 and Paul Bannister with David Trainer at 8. Tomorrow on Thursday. Well, it's all, you know, it's
Definitely well worth a watch.
it's
Absolutely. In actual fact, I think we're due Paul. Oh, sorry. And Richard is live tonight at 8 o'clock on TikTok as well. It is all going on in it. I think we're actually due Paul Bannister serving Little Port. We're due Paul Bannister serving Little Port anytime soon as well, I believe. We haven't got a service this week because the village hall that we hire for church is also a polling station. So we don't get to have our church when the elections are on. But so I'm going to make good use of my day off.
Oh, lovely.
Make a nice little hidey hole for Conti. Yes, Tim. Good morning.
Morning, Tim.
Long time no speak. How you doing, my friend? Tim Abbott. Hi, Nick. You speak of karma. Can I please ask a complicated question? I've never known you to shy away from them yet, so please don't.
Absolutely not.
There are two men standing on a pavement in front of a busy road. In front of each man is an elderly lady. They get tired and annoyed of waiting for the traffic to go quiet. If both men push the elderly ladies in front of the oncoming traffic, the ladies die. Now I forget to tell you, one of the men is mentally handicapped. They require equally. Whilst one man is mentally handicapped, there is still two ladies dying on the there is still two ladies dying on the floor. Yeah. So this is where I find my problem with karma, because there would be many say, well, you know what? There's that loss of life there.
Yeah.
They both should be punished. You know, one of the things that the universe does is look at things a lot more complex than we do. And so the universe would be aware of all of the reasons and situations and causes for situations. And once again, I mean, I even struggle with the use of the word retribution in the Seven Principles. It's the best word that we had in Victorian times. I get that, but I struggle with the word retribution in the Seven Principles, because I think that is more of a kind of term. So I tend to move away from that as well. As far as I'm concerned, there is healing needed on all sides. There is lessons to be learned on all sides. But I know that the spirit world would ensure that the right lessons are learned by the right people and in the appropriate way. There's still something to be answered for, because there has been a loss of life.
Yes.
But the universe knows what needs to be done, when, where, and why. That's why another reason why I struggle with the concept of karma being just an energetic field, because just an energetic field without any focus or thought or conscience or consciousness, which is one of the original teachings of karma, I believe that's either from the Vedic or Buddhist. I'm not entirely sure in remembering, but somebody sent a big heart on TikTok, so thank you for that. I personally believe that the universe is a little bit more switched on, and a little bit more aware and self-aware, and would ensure that the lessons that need to be learned will be learned in the right way by the right people. And those spirit helpers who watch over us and guide our life would be a part of that process too. So there we are. And again, yes, enjoy. I did see your picture the other day, mate. Enjoy your time at the old lady. I've got to call her the old lady. I'm not allowed to call her anything else. I am, of course, referring to Stansted Hall.
Yes, well, it's open week this
Yes.
coming weekend, isn't it? So
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Have a good time, Tim. Enjoy all the people coming.
Yes.
I'm sure you'll have a great time. Definitely. Yes.
Absolutely. Kayla X and Ella569 and AAO and Terry Louise are all on TikTok, having a, oh, and it was Kayla X who sent the boom boom heart. I love those.
Oh, that's nice.
They come across. Thank you, Kayla. So I hope that, you know, answers your question, or at least directs you to the train of thought in which I exist. Tim, I do know we love it. We love our chats, and it's always good fun to debate things. I personally think that it's okay to disagree with each other so long as it's done in a right way, and I think that's how we learn. I mean, there are things that I said yesterday in the debate that people weren't entirely sure of or certain of, but if we can talk about our differences of opinion in a way that means that we can learn from each other and share our thoughts and opinions, then our personal understanding grows. And as we can,
and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is. Well, I mean, as you frequently says, we can never know everything because we're not God. We are not God, so we can never know everything, including whether the viewers like me with or without hair. I've had mixed reviews, Tim, is the honest answer. It is growing back and I will be shaping it up, but I had lots of positive comments and quite a few negative comments too. Terry Lewis, I know everything. But yes, of course, it is a Wednesday.
Linda just said with hair.
Yeah. I won't say publicly how she described me, and how she always describes me when I do that, but it wasn't entirely complimentary. But I felt quite smooth, and there's a few people who like the sandpaper feeling just after it's been done. People love to rub my head because it feels like sandpaper. And interestingly enough, just as a little reminder comes up, that was leading me into something, because as I'm rubbing my head, I was expecting to feel that sandpaper feeling, but it was really, really shiny. So I know I've got someone coming in with me right now, because that didn't feel right.
No.
It's like my head's not shiny, far from it. So I do know that I've got a gentleman coming forward who would have had the shiny. Don't you make me say it, I'll get in big trouble. I know I've got someone coming in. And Jacqueline LaRue, your first time watching, welcome along. To anyone who's watching who would have a joke with their father or grandfather about turtle wax, he's having a right old giggle. So I am aware that this gentleman, as he steps forward, there was a little bit of wildness from time to time about the hair that remained on the side. And I know that it was shiny, and he would occasionally joke about having turtle wax to keep it nice and shiny. He's got this wonderfully elongated and pointed face. It's very distinguished. And he's got this look of mischief about him, where, you know, it's almost like he would peer at you over his glasses. and just from the side and give you this cheeky little grin as if to say, I'm going to wind you up now. And I feel much more comfortable oh, wow, and I can read. That's awesome. I feel much more comfortable with my glasses down like that. So I know he would quite often have them dangling on the edge.
Oh, we've got Kayla on TikTok who can understand this, Nick.
Oh, your granddad used to do that. Had a shy in New Zealand. Granddad had a shiny head, and I was kind of referencing you at the time. Kayla, would you also understand the jokiness, the naughtiness, and quite a pointed face? um, distinguished, not chiseled, but yes, you would understand that, right? Okay. So with this gentleman, you would also understand that he liked to be kind of half casual, half smart. I'm seeing a waistcoat as being something as part of his character. It's almost like you're in Australia. I'm hoping that Roald Dahl has made it all the way over there. The clothes that the BFG wore, so the long kind of comfortable trousers and the waistcoat and kind of like the granddad shirt type thing, just looking comfortable, but there was this smartness about it too. It was always quite neat and tidy and well turned out. And he's, in actual fact, that whole BFG thing, that there, because he was quite tall as well. He said, I wasn't as tall as the BFG. Don't get you started on that. So there were limits to his humor. But Kayla, if you can understand that, just keep letting me know so I know that I'm going in the right direction, because he's he dressed tidy and sometimes messy, because there's this wildness about his hair that gives him a bit of a nutty professor kind of look. But again, I feel much more comfortable when I'm looking at you over my glasses, and it's weird because I can barely read with them on, let alone, without. So again, it's this, he wants to sit comfortably, one arm leaning up and resting his head on his chin and then directing with one hand. And it's almost like he would have held on for dear life to the other handle, and would have been really, really guiding and directing and uplifting and wanting to help. Oh, and that's how he looked at you when he was a child. Bless you, right? So I'm definitely with you, Kayla. My first TikTok message, woohoo! As he comes in, he's looking round at my room and he's going, well, I was a little bit eclectic, but this is ridiculous. Because he's referencing I've got crystals and a crystal ball and pewter stuff, and I've even got a little statue of a laughing Buddha, and then next to that I've got me stone head thing. And he's saying, I was eclectic, but this is ridiculous. Really, come on, sort yourself out, lad. And so he was someone who was always free to give guidance and direction. So when it comes to that's what he's right. Okay, he wasn't spiritual. He says, what are you up to? What are you up to? Obviously, he's aware of it now, because he'd have to be, because he's talking to me. But what he is also saying is that although he wasn't spiritual, he had his own spirituality and he had his own view. He had his own view on the world. And when we think about what we was talking about with Eunice's boxes and everything, if we all take ourselves outside of the box, your views and his views actually aren't that far apart. And what he wants you to know is that he says, I've been watching you, I've been listening, and to be fair, I might have been a little bit harsh about stuff like that. And he says, crystals do glow this side. That's all I'm saying. And he's not happy. He's joking, not being happy about it. He says, if we see this from the other side, it does have a glow about it. All right. So I'll just give you that. But his main reason for coming through today is just to let you know that he is watching and taking an interest in you and everything you're doing. I do, okay. I thought I was going to get away with it with him. with him, I don't know whether it's either him or you, but I'm just feeling this thing down the side of my head as though it was an annoyance. And I don't know whether it's again to do with glasses, because he keeps referencing the glasses at the same time. So I don't know whether he suffered with headaches or whether you're suffering with headaches and you need to. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. I absolutely ate that one. But there's something to do with this pain in the side of the head and relating to glasses, and that's all I'm going to say. But again, as he backs off, he just wants to say, look, I know that in life things don't always go to plan. Sometimes things break, sometimes things go wrong, and sometimes things fall apart. But it's about how you put them back together and move forward from that. And these are his exact words: from where I'm standing, you are tall, my girl. You are tall.
Wow.
I am going through a battle that's with him. Right.
Him,
Thank you.
yeah.
So yeah, he says, from where I'm standing, you're standing tall, my dear. So take his absolute love and endearing support and unending support. It's been going on for nearly 5 years. He passed in 29. Oh, bless you. Well, he's got your back, and as far as he's concerned, you are standing tall. And you know, sometimes things don't go the way we want them to. Sometimes things go better afterwards when we put them back together. And they get better when we put them back together again, knowing what we didn't know before. And I'll say, God bless you and thank you for listening.
Oh, that was lovely, Nick. Absolutely beautiful message. Oh, and I'm sure Kayla, she's got some help from that, definitely. That was lovely.
So.
I've got a lady with me, and I know that she had some stomach issues. In fact, I feel that she must have, I felt that I had some sort of tube or something down my throat. So I feel that she that she had some issues with eating, and I also feel there was issues where she had to have a tube down her throat. Do you know what? She's got so much emotion here, because I feel that everything that happened to her in hospital was very scary. And at one time, I feel she didn't know if she was coming or going. There was a lot of things happening. I feel at one point she was rushed into hospital, and because there's like chaos all around her. And she said that she was crying, and she really sort of was struggling at this particular time. But whoever this message is for, she just wants to say thank you, because you held my hand throughout it. You were there for me. She's just showing me this scenario where the gurney was running down the hall, and it's like, so I feel that there was some sort of an emergency with this lady. She was rushed into hospital, and I feel that she really did suffer with her stomach. I feel that she's, I've got to say, I want to say sister. I want to say sister here. So I don't know if anybody can understand that. I was umming and ahhing between sister and mother, but sister came out of my mouth, so I'm gonna go with that. She was a very emotional lady, and there was lots of tears around, and I feel that whoever this is for helped her understand. We're back to understanding again, when she was struggling. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody can understand this. If you can, if you're on TikTok and you can understand this, and or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, please write if you can understand, if this makes sense to you, because she's here because she wants to. She wants to reach out to say thank you. She wants to reach out to say that she's absolutely fine now, and I feel that she wants to sort of return the favor here, because the person that I'm linking with has been going through a bit of a bad time. And I feel also that there's something to do with paperwork that they're going through at the moment. So there's a lot of paperwork and they keep putting it to one side. And I do feel that this lady was quite an organized lady. She would get her life in order. So she was quite organized from when she was well, but it was just when she was poorly that she couldn't deal with all uh, the emotion and everything that was going on with her illness. It sort of changed her. So have we got anybody that understands this at the moment? I'm just looking to see if there's anybody on TikTok that understands this. And I don't know if there's anybody on YouTube or Facebook, but this lady's here and she wants to reach out. She wants to reach out to someone here. So if you can let me know, please write in the comments if this makes sense to you. And I just feel that she just wants to come here and she just wants to send her love. And it's definitely to a lady. And I just feel she wants to send her love and she wants to send her thanks. And I feel that she just wants to say thank you. That's what she wants to say. So I don't know if anybody can understand this. If you can't, because I'm not seeing any comments at the moment. So if you can't understand that, or if you can at a later date, let me know. But I know that this lady is here. She had stomach issues, something to do with a tube, and she just wants to say thank you to someone for being there for her. And also she wants to be there for you. Sam B says it could be her nan. Okay, that's fine. All right, can you understand most of it, Sam B? Because can you understand where you're going through some issues where you've got to get paperwork sorted out? Because she keeps reiterating this. Right, Denise Poulter says, sorry, I was driving my mum, shingles across stomach. Okay, I don't think it's more internal than that, Denise.
Yeah.
It's more internal than that. It's not shingles across the stomach, definitely not that. It's something to do with putting tubes down the throat. So I know it's to do with that. It's not to do with shingles. So Sam B, if you can understand paperwork around you, this is what she's making me aware of. I feel she wants to say to you, get organized with this paperwork. Don't be afraid of it. And she's going to be right. So that AAO says there are elements I can take, but not all. Okay, well, if you can type back, and AAO is on TikTok, so if you can type back and let me know what they are, I can work with them. But I just feel that there's something she's saying to get the paperwork organized. I'm seeing piles. At the moment, it's one big pile, and you've got to separate it. You've got to separate it into sections. And I just feel that she just wants to reach out and say that she's there for you. And okay, no, oh, you wasn't. I did. Okay, Sambi. I didn't say you were there at the end. I just said that there was a dash, something about a dash to the hospital. So I just feel that there was a dash to the hospital. So sister-in-law, says AAO. Okay, that sounds better. That sounds better because I said sister. So I'm going to work with AAO on TikTok. So I just feel here that she just wants you to sort these piles of paperwork out. And she's going to sort of give you, I feel like you need a bit of a push. Alison, lovely to have you on, Alison. And thank you for letting me know your name. But I just feel she wants to give you a motivational push to work with this paperwork. And she just wants to say thank you to you for being there for her. And I feel that she was a little bit of embarrassed about her condition because she didn't like lots of people knowing about her illness. She tended to keep her illness quiet because it was her way. She was quite a private lady. And I just feel that she just wants to be there for you and to give you a lot of strength and motivation to sort out this paperwork that you're dealing with. and she's definitely giving you a lot of strength. So take her love. Take her love. Thank you, Alison, for working with me.
Bless her. Wonderful. Wow. Bless you. What a lovely start to the day.
Absolutely.
Such uplifting, bringing people together. I do have to just mention that apparently there is some internet issues, but I'm sure we're doing all we can on that. So if you are having problems, don't panic. If my screen freezes, it's because I've got a dodgy cable, which I'll be replacing in the week. But I can usually figure out what's wrong with that and fix it forthwith. But welcome along to everyone who has joined us so far on both TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I am learning so much about tortoises and turtles today. It's real. So thank you for that too. And Zoe Dobby says a lovely message. And Alison's just said, I have a lot of paperwork to do with someone to sort out, and my brother has lots of paperwork.
Ah, well, that's what she's talking about then. That's what it was about. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so yes, again, we're having our first proper full, I think for us at least, it's our first full proper stream on TikTok.
Yes, and that was my first message on TikTok.
Yes, it was. It was.
Yes.
And you know, so for everyone at home, if we suddenly look confused and darting our heads backwards and forwards like we're suddenly becoming the master, it's because we've got two message feeds now.
Yes.
But I'll be honest with you, I am getting used to it already. So it's a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful thing. Yes, a very good point, actually. Richard's just said, welcome to my world, because he's always had three,
But
he's always had two streams.
He has a wall of screens, doesn't he? And the thing is, he's been doing this for years. He's used to it.
Yeah.
And it's in his blood, I would say. It's in his blood, I have to say, all this technology. And I'm like this at the moment, rabbit in headlights.
Yeah, as we've gone to two streams, he's actually gone to three.
Yeah.
Let's be real about that. So bless his heart, he's doing wonders. And it's so wonderful, and it's nice actually, because you know, having a little, I've got a little stand. I can actually have the stream open as well if I wish. And see what's going on as well. So, you know, I'm starting to get even more tech savvy than I used to be, which is worrying. And Deb Clark, hello.
Deb.
Hi, Deb. Good to see you.
Oh, she's saying, oh, poor Richard.
Yeah, absolutely. And Charlene has joined, so welcome along.
Yes.
And Trish is there, and Shaz. And everyone's joining us. So we have been kind of talking about balance and knowledge and understanding today.
We have.
And it's been quite an interesting and, again, healthy. Welcome to a mum's world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something I'll never have to worry about. Well, I am a mummy to a couple of bunnies and some fish and a couple of cockatiels. I was late coming out this morning. Because I had to give my bunnies some medicine, bless them. One's on Baytril and the other's on gabapentin. So yeah. But they take it from me better than they do from Daddy. That's all I'm saying. I have my uses.
I don't know. There's always one person in the house that has to do the meds, whether it's children or animals. Yes, and that person, like you, is me in my house.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, for those that were watching on Monday, actually, I will just mention this. We have a new friend who's joined the family, and his name is Conti the Camel, and he'll be a regular feature in my new location for broadcast.
He needs to have a higher platform.
He does, because at the moment he's standing on a box, and that was the biggest thing I could find in the short time that I had.
He needs to have his own perch, his own.
He does, so that he can if I can have him about that height there, he can be whispering in my ear and passing on messages from spirit. And we are, of course, we do have a regular feature within this show, and it is, of course, our healing moment. So I'm going to grab my pen and my healing book and prepare myself for listing. Whilst I get everything open and ready. Are you all right explaining to everyone who's new what we're going to be doing?
Absolutely. On this show, for those of you on TikTok that haven't joined us before, or for those of you on YouTube and Facebook that haven't joined us before, this is the part of the show where we send out healing to people that we know. And also we remember loved ones in spirit. So if you've got if someone has a heavenly birthday today or this week, please give them a mention. And also don't forget yourselves as well, because it is very important to send healing for yourself, because if you are the captain of your ship at home, then you need to be firing on all cylinders and tickety-boo so that you can look after everybody else. And if you're not firing on all cylinders, then, you know, then sometimes the rest of the ship gets a little bit rocky and goes off course. So please send healing for yourself and for anybody that you know, friends or family or neighbors or anyone that needs healing, because healing is a wonderful power. It comes from the divine source, and sometimes people that don't realize that they've received healing or not aware of it suddenly start to feel better, because the spirit world know where that healing needs to go. You don't have to say what's wrong or anything like that. You just mention that person's name and the healing will be directed, whether it's mind, body or spirit. So that's what we're going to do. And I think Richard's got a little visual for us so that we can just go into that healing moment. And what will happen is I will read the names out, and I've got to do it from both screens, and Nick will write them in our book. So do you want to show everybody the book, Nick?
I've got a different healing book in this house.
Right.
This is the new healing book for this room. I've got it is literally right from the start, and it's a wonderful, it's not real leather, by the way. I made sure of that. So, and it's got a lovely little bookmark in it that was a gift from a friend, who's due to have a baby anytime soon. So I'm going to put her straight in. So Dawny, we are thinking of you. She's due anytime. In actual fact, if her daughter has not arrived by then, she'll actually be induced on Monday.
Right.
So Dawny and daughter, I shall say.
Dawny and daughter, yes.
Dawny and daughter. And Jacqueline LaRue, don't go anywhere, because I want to come back to your question after we've done the healing.
Yes, and also, can you put Chrissy in for me, Nick, and a gentleman called Chris Green?
Yeah.
And Eve.
Eve, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Christine Davis has got healing to my daughter Samantha.
Yeah.
Laura Tunnicliffe on TikTok has said healing to her daughter Emma. So that's the ones that we've got at the moment. And also Chesa on TikTok says healing to her friend Lorraine.
Absolutely. No.
Oh, right. So Krish has got, oops, they're all going too fast. I can't see them. If we do miss anybody, ladies and gentlemen, what we will do is Nick always goes back over the names after the show. So we've got Ranashri Moodley, Willem van Krimpen, Sati Moodley, Malai Moodley, Coogie Moodley, and VJ Moodley. So it's the Moodley family by the sounds of it. They all need healing.
Yeah.
Simon on Facebook would like healing for his brother David.
Yeah.
Amanda Jones would like healing for herself.
Absolutely. I did see that comment, Amanda, and absolutely should always ask for yourself.
Definitely. Alison on TikTok would like healing for herself. And also Alan as well. Dion would like healing for the Barley family. Shirley Walker would like healing for herself after a fall.
Bless you, Shirley. Thinking of you, darling.
Tony Coppins would like healing for the world. Victoria Witcher would like healing for herself. And also Kelly Thompson. Oh, and Kelly's saying, Kelly Rocket saying thank you for the healing services. Oh.
I think when we first discussed it, it was something that we were quite passionate about, was all of us.
Nekara would like healing for her son. Rebecca Whelan would like healing for herself.
Of course, darling.
Carrie Ann Marshall would like healing for herself and her Aunt Sherry.
Absolutely.
Debbie Callow would like healing for her son because he needs strength and confidence. And Jacqueline LaRue would like healing for all people that she mentioned, plus herself. Alison's just mentioned that it's a lovely calm energy on here. And I've noticed that when we go into that healing time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie. Do you know, it's funny, the paradigm always shifts when healing starts. It really, really does.
It does.
Really, really does. I think I'm all caught up.
I think you are. Yeah.
Thank you to, there we go.
Deb W, healing please, just lost my mum and my son just lost his dad. So healing to Deb W's family.
Absolutely.
And also to Charlie as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Kelly Rocket says she's noticed it. She's gone very warm. That's nice, Kelly. That's nice.
Do you know, Major Wellesley Tudor Pole started the silent minute which is what we do at our church every night at 9:25 through to just after past.
Well, there's
He
one
said,
more, Nick. There's a lady called Rachel. She would like some healing.
yeah, absolutely. He said that the positive thoughts and good intentions and healing love and intent of energy being sent out to the world when gathered together by like-minded people can never, ever, ever be defeated.
Absolutely.
And he's absolutely right.
Yes. And Denise Porter would like healing for her son, Nick. So we're going to keep that healing book in Nick's new continuity office.
It's in the continuity room. Absolutely.
The continuity room. Yes.
The continuity room.
Yes.
And Conti will keep sending his healing thoughts throughout the week as well as I do. In actual fact, I've got a funny feeling I'll be in here more than I am my own.
Probably. I find that I have the same thing. So just know, everyone, that the love and the healing will go out to where it is needed.
Absolutely.
And just in that time, shall we have our
little feed? Yes,
our
our
little
little
feed, please, Richard. There we go. So that love and healing has gone out, which is wonderful.
Right.
It is.
There was a comment I wanted to come back.
Yes.
Jacqueline LaRue asked a question about the communication with spirit. And yes, it's a wonderful, uplifting feeling, and we must enjoy it. But
here we are.
Do you not? But do you not like feeling the way they passed? Karen, how do you get around that sensation of when they show that feeling of when spirit pass?
When I first started working as a medium, if I saw something that was a little bit, horrific or not very nice, I mean, when I feel sensations or pain or discomfort in my own body, I know that it's nothing to do with me. I know that the spirit world are giving me the sensation or bringing that memory of something that I know. So I know it's nothing to do with me. I know it's not my pain, if that makes sense, but I can empathize with the pain and the suffering that someone's gone through. When I see it from a clairvoyance point of view, so say, for instance, I see an accident or I see something happen, which I did a few weeks ago that was quite traumatic, it can bring a bit of a lump to my throat. It can make me think, oh my God. But because of my knowledge, and I know that that person is okay, that now they're in the spirit world, and because I sense their energy and I know they're all right, that makes me pass the message on, because I want their family to know that they're all right, to take away the vision that they've seen or that they remember, or that feeling. And it's funny that you say that, because a few weeks ago I did a service in a church, and I was describing something that happened to somebody, and it was very sad and it was traumatic, to do with a road accident. And the lady got very emotional because she was actually there when it happened. And she said, even though it happened 35 years ago, it's still, she can still remember that day. She says you never forget it. But what she did say is that she felt pleased that she knows that, the person that it happened to, the young man that it happened to, is okay, and that he's living his life in the spirit world. So yes, it can be hard, and I try not to dwell. If I can see someone's getting upset, I pull that back. I don't want to dwell on the pain, because that's not what that person was about. That's just how they passed. Sometimes they can give us the evidence to as a piece of evidence, so that it's who you're with, or if it's that person. But if you think about it, when we're born 1 year and we die whatever so many years later. And in the middle of that, so say for instance, the month, I'm going to use my mum's years, 1923 to 2003. In that, and then there's a dash in the middle, and in that dash is their life. So they are more than their passing. They are more of the tragedy of what happened when they were ill. It's traumatic and it's hard. It's hard for the family, but I try to bring through the story of their life, the connections, the love, the things that they did, the laughs that they shared, the places that they went to, and the people and the love that they shared. That's the important thing. So yes, we can use the passing as a good piece of evidence, but we don't want to dwell on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. It's funny you should say about the car accident. That's the one thing that I struggle with, because it always reminds me of the accident and bashing against the side of the car, and in my case, the back windscreen, because the back of my seat broke. I went backwards, the seatbelt was still there, and I was out the back window.
Oh my God.
And so it always reminds me of that experience, but that's my pain that it's reminding me of. I think it's always important to tell people and remind people, as you have done, that they no longer feel like this. They're only giving it to us as a piece of evidence, as a reflection. And I think it's also important to say that they only show us that if they've dealt with it and are okay with it now. They have processed that emotion and experience. So if they don't give the condition of passing, then they're still working on with it and dealing with it. But if they give it, they've dealt with it, they've processed it, and they're okay with it to an extent. They've processed it because they're okay with showing us. And having at the age of 24 had a minor heart attack. It seems like a lifetime ago now, but at the age of 24, I had a mini heart attack. And the feeling that they give you is nothing in comparison to the real thing. It is an indicator to us and a direction to us and a reminder to us, so that we know what to say and where. But it's nothing in comparison to the real thing happening. So we get off quite lightly on that score as well. But I completely agree with everything Karen just said. Absolutely.
I like Victoria's question. I just wondered, off the back of that last question, do spirit find it easier or are more likely to communicate with you as the medium if you've had experiences in your life that spirit can relate to, or does that have nothing to do with it? Don't worry if too many comments are going off topic, but just wondered. I can relate to characters come through to me that remind me of my own family. Sometimes I can remember I was still a student at the college when this happened, and I was shown a lady that sort of like was a very similar character to my mum. A similar thing happened in the hospital that happened to my mum. So yes, and I could empathize with that because I'd been through it. So the spirit communicator drew closer to me because I understood. It's about understanding, and we're back to that understanding again.
Synchronicity.
If the medium understands the situation between the communicator and the family, then they can interpret it more and they can bring the empathy. And the love through. And sometimes they give us things that we don't understand, more factual information or more technical information. So for instance, if somebody was talking about somebody coming through from the spirit world and they were completely non-techie, but tried their best at it, and sort of struggled with technology, but were interested in it, then they'd come to me, because that's exactly me to a T. So they take it on board. They're very, very clever. They're very clever. A friend of mine who's a very good medium, she's a nurse, and she's worked in like everyday nursing, and she's worked in mental health nursing. And so she gets a lot of people, and she can talk about the medical words and the medication that the spirit world might talk about, or also their state of mind, because she understands that, being a mental health nurse. So they use everything that we are. They use everything that we know. And it's quite fascinating.
You know, I just
really,
want to pick up on one very specific phrase that Victoria used there. Does that have where it says, if you've had experiences in your life that spirit can relate to, or does that have nothing to do with it? For me, it's everything to do with it. Mediumship, mental mediumship, is through the transference of thought. And in spite of what my mum used to say about, you know, what thought done, in the spirit world, thought is everything. When it comes to communication and when it comes to information, unless we have an understanding or a common ground, there is no way of really understanding and making use of it. As Karen said, spirit are a lot cleverer than. And for instance, one day I was supposed to be giving a cannabis plant, and I gave them a tomato plant because it was the closest related thing that I could have in my head that would get them to where they needed to be. So they can use similarity within our thoughts to trigger the actual thought in the recipient's mind. But absolutely, you know, how can you help someone love if you've never experienced love? How can you explain joy if you've never experienced joy? And how can you describe pain if you've never experienced pain? It doesn't give the depth without that similarity. And plus, let's face it, be reminded, for anyone who watches me work on a regular basis, I get crazy people and nut jobs through because they're drawn to me for some reason, you know. I love the absolute humor and naughtiness of the people that come through me, because they see the similarity in themselves. So there's like, okay, so I'm going to come to him because I'm going to have some fun at his expense, and know that he's not going to care too much, you know, because I try not to take myself too seriously. Did it? Oh, yes. Okay, that's lucky. But yeah, I've got to remember that bit. But yeah, I saw it as a tomato plant because I'm sweet and innocent. But yeah, absolutely. How can you describe that this person experienced compassion unless you understand what that concept is? They will get the closest thing that we understand and evolve it and manipulate it and make it right. So yeah, I agree with you. And hello, Neil. Good to see you.
Hello, Neil. Oh dear, I don't know. It's been a strange sort of morning this morning, because we've got all the comments, all these other chats going on, and we are sort of getting a little bit of an insight into what it's like for Richard. But do you know what? I'm loving the feeling in on the show today, and all these wonderful questions. I think it's absolutely great. And that sort of, when we grow and when we learn and our understanding, and when we understand things, when it suddenly makes sense, you think, like you know, it just clicks, then other things will start to click into place as well. And I think that's all about the growing of your own spirit, you know, how you progress, how you can move, then you move a little bit further. And we never stop learning, do we?
Absolutely.
Never stop learning. Yeah.
Alison
Oh,
has just asked, do some spirits take longer to get used to passing? Absolutely, yes. Again, it's all about the personality and the individual. Someone who did not believe, and this is, you know, I've got to say, the concept of hell is a really important one here, because we are the ones who create our own. And if someone was very, very, very extremely believing in that concept and believe that they don't deserve to go to the spirit world, they will hold themselves back. That's where that concept comes from. It's not that it's a place that you have to go to. It's a place that we put ourselves in, which is why the love and the light and the truth of spirit needs to be spread more and more and more, because it stops people from taking that next step to their loved ones. But if someone was completely non-believing of anything to do with this, and they suddenly wake up and they're no longer connected to the physical world, that's going to be one awful culture shock. To it's like, okay, so everything I believe is kind of different. Okay. And they will have to go through that process of learning and understanding. Thankfully, there are so many loving people and messengers of spirit in the world of spirit that if people stop themselves from going forward, they will have loved ones approach them and say, come on, get over it. I'm here. You know how naughty I was, and I'm still having a whale of a time. So come along. And it is very much about sending love and thoughts for a smooth transition, and about asking and knowing that they will anyway without being asked, but knowing that their loved ones will come forward and help them with that transition. Many people see the concept of a hospital ward in the world of spirit as a kind of a waiting room to help them get used to it. I love the concept behind it, because it is all about that healing before moving forward. But yeah, in my opinion, absolutely, depending on the person, it will take a while to get used to it. However, if you've got, like, for instance, my old favorite, if you've got that healing leader who's in her 90s, who's been going to a spiritualist church since she was knee high to a grasshopper, and is absolutely at peace with the universe, loves the world of spirit, loves listening to messages, and has learned so much. And she sits there and she drifts off and goes to the spirit world, and she'll see all of those people in the world of spirit that have been waiting to meet her. And she'll say, I'm home and I'm ready. What are we going to do next? And, you know, it's instant. People often ask me, how long does it take people to come back? My answer has never changed. 5 seconds to 5 years, depends on
absolutely. Do you know what, you read my mind there, because I was just about to say, you know, lots of people say, oh, does it take about a year until some? No. You know, I've known people go over to the spirit world and then be in the morning and giving a message in the church, or coming close to a person within half an hour, 20 minutes. So, you know, it doesn't matter. I think it depends on the person. As you say, if they have an understanding, and it's like when you go on holiday, what do? We pick up the phone. I've arrived safely, I'm okay. Or we send a postcard, you know, with a nice picture on, to say that all is well and they're okay. And I would actually like to know that, even though you know that they're okay, all the things, we know that, but it's just that sort of physical confirmation when I mean, I got to the church after my dad passed, and I wasn't a working medium then, I was just in my training. And one of the mediums on the platform just said, I'm not going to go into detail, Karen, but your dad just wants to let you know that he's okay. And can you just tell your mum? And that's all she had to say, because if that makes sense, it's peace of mind, it's knowing that all is well. And we know that they're okay when they go over to the spirit world. It's the people here that need the help. You know, coming to terms with things, dealing with all the practicalities. And when you think about funerals and things like that, there's a line in a spiritual service. This is the last earthly thing that we do for that person. And people get, you know, they want to give a person a good send off, but it's also closure for them as well. It's more, I think, for the living than it is for the ones that have died in a lot.
Absolutely agree. Speaking of those that have gone before us,
yes,
and we truly hope that people have enjoyed the answers to the questions. We do love answering them. As we talk about people that have passed to the world of spirit, of course they're going to be listening. And usually, you know, one of the things that I often notice that is there's a synchronicity between what we've been talking about and the person that's coming forward. Once again, that's that what connects us kind of thing. And as I link in now, I'm made aware of someone who did struggle with the concept of living forever. Again, I remind you, I've got people coming through me quite often that have strange senses of humor. And that one phrase that I'm not going to say in public, when I woke up, the word that we're not allowed to use as mediums. And be honest with you, I wasn't. Oh, okay. He says, to be honest with you, I was not happy. I was like, okay, that's unusual. This gentleman, as he steps forward, thank you. That's better. I feel once again that healing piece. This is a gentleman who had a very healing aura about him, which is not entirely a contradiction, because even people who don't believe in spirit have a healing aura about them. But this gentleman could have well been very easily, if he'd have believed in this way of life, could have well been a healer or a tutor or a teacher. And I certainly feel that he had that kind of role in life, but on a much more earth-based, practical sense. And he's saying, I was really wound up when I realized that I'd just got to keep carrying on. And you know, I haven't heard that very often at all. And Jessica woke up asleep, absolutely. And he was really quite annoyed because he thought he was going to get a break, and then he realised that he got lots more to do. And as he comes forward, I don't feel that he reached a huge age. I know that he lived a life. I don't think he was completely happy about going. Don't misunderstand me, but he wasn't happy about having to carry on as well, because he thought all of the baggage of a physical nature and all of the work of a physical nature would end up following him as well. So I know he had a struggle of adjustment when it came to thank you. He had a struggle of adjustment when it came to realizing that life was actually about to get more fun and interesting, because he was very much a vivacious lover and liver of life. And to think that it had all got to carry on in the same way it had done, with the difficulties of the physical world, he wasn't overly impressed. But then someone who he cared about very dearly came and met him, and he was quite impressed and was like, okay, well, that's a good start, but stop nagging me. Amanda Jones says, this sounds so familiar. You would understand this gentleman, as he comes forward, would have been someone who was quite pragmatic and practical, and frequently frustrated with human beings. It's like people just did the things that would wind me up because they didn't see the reality that life is for the living. Terry Louise says, my dad had a very calm energy, very wise, past 67, struggled to carry on, but didn't want to go on at the same time. Okay, let me get some more information to see who this gentleman is with. Oh, please don't give me that. I believe this gentleman was a smoker. Um, I've had a bit of a rough week, and I've actually had a couple of cravings. Terry Louise said he used medical, that stuff that I'm not allowed to say, otherwise we get
Yes.
muted. That I'd just spoken about. And I do feel that there was problems with his memory as well, because as I'm looking around and talking, there's this real struggle with keeping on track. Debbie Callow says, sounds like my son wouldn't have accepted living with a stoma. He was, I mean, oh, bless his heart. And he was a healer. He was a healer, a helper. He was so frustrated with human beings. Thank you, Debbie. I actually feel this gentleman was a little bit older than that. I would probably say, 25 is too young. And let's face it, 25 is never a good age.
No.
And he felt that he'd lived a full life, even though he was still reasonably young when he passed. And the medication affected Terry Louise's dad's memory. I have to say, I do feel fatherly. Terry, can I come to you? Thank you, everyone who shouted out. But the Mari Juliana, let's hope that gets past the filters. The Mari Juliana and the memory loss and that apathy towards people. I really do fit. So Terry, if I could come to you. I'm just trying to ask him to get rid of this because it really is quite strange how suddenly, and it came, you would understand, Terry, the memory losses and even though it was because of the medication, it came on really quite suddenly, and you'd have like 2 or 3 hours of brilliant conversation, absolute following train of thought, and then boom, instantly it was like, oh, stop in his tracks. And he's saying it was a bit like that when I got up there, and I weren't impressed with that either, because it was like, it sounds very much like, thank you, Terry. Again, once again, going back to what Jacqueline was talking about and asking her question, I've got this sensation here, and it does feel right, because it doesn't entirely feel heart. It feels kind of like either the heart or the top of my lung. And it just feels a really, really odd sensation. So I'll just give you that as well. It's just right there, actually. It's really, really strange. It doesn't really feel like any particular location as far as organs are concerned, but I do feel it's kind of like top of the lung area, maybe. And again, this is a gentleman who was very inquisitive and interested about life, but it was about living life. It was about being in life. It was about existing in life. And as he looks around now, he's making me look further beyond the screen. I'm very short-sighted, so I have to wear glasses for reading. And he's just said, take them darn things off. It's not exactly what he said, Terry Louise, but I did edit it for him. Take those darn things off and just look out at the world. I've been spending a lot of time inside recently, and he's not impressed with me on that. He says, look at the world beyond that window. Look at that pigeon sitting, minding its own business. It's living its best life, and it hasn't got to worry about all of the dirge of the physical world, because it makes its own rules and it makes its own life, and it lives with what it's got and it makes the best of it. And there's a whole world going on outside there that we can be a part of. And it's almost like he's saying, swim in the world, swim in the world, live your life and swim in the world. And and I hope you can understand that about your dad, Terry, because it's really important that it's looking beyond. Oh, right, you're staying inside a lot too. He's talking about looking beyond the window. He says it's one thing to look out of it, but we have to live beyond it. I'm going to put my glasses back on now so I can actually read things. But whilst he has accepted that there is a life beyond the physical, and whilst, well, it had to have done, and whilst he has accepted that there is things in this afterlife, he's still got no time or patience for all of the fluffy stuff. It ain't needed. It ain't needed at all. It's all fluff. It's all fluff. There's a reality behind this spirit stuff, and it should be less fluffy. Not to say that he wasn't a fluffy person, but concepts shouldn't be fluffy. So I'll give you that as well. But he is talking. Oh, okay. I mentioned right at the beginning about. I mentioned right at the beginning about the healing, and he says she won't believe you. He says, "I'm training up here to do healing. I'm gonna get involved." And so yeah, I'm gonna be doing some healing. So watch this space because I'll be good at this. And I do feel that once he turned his hand to something, there was no stopping him. So yeah, I'm gonna do this healing stuff. I love the way he puts it to me is this healing stuff. And of course, we'd already mentioned at the beginning he had a very healing energy, so of course he'd be very useful for that. But you know, watch out, he may well be, if he hasn't already, identifying himself as a healing guide, and he's talking about the next step of healing. So watch this space. I don't know what mess you've made, or not that this gentleman was particular, but I've got just a microfiber cloth on my table that I use for cleaning my glasses because it does a good job. He says, just pick that up for her and say, "Do you need this, love?" So I don't know whether you've spilt something or dropped something, or there's something that he would require cleaning. But he said, "You need this, love. You need this, love. Here you go." And he's laughing his head off about it. And as he says, oh, he would have said that stuff. That's what I'm to back off. I'm very much aware of. I don't know whether this is physical or literal, or physical or the other one. That's coming back again. What's the opposite of literal? I can't remember now. I'm losing the will to speak, let alone anything else. But that thing, there's a pain in the neck. A daughter and mum made a right mess Monday night, so we'll be about that. Okay. And there's something about, like I said, I don't know whether it's literal or the other thing that really has escaped my mind. But there's something about a pain in the neck. So I will leave that with you. But as he steps away now, I am asked to get. That's cheeky. He wants to give you some this huge bouquet of flowers, but they're silk. He says, well, I'll only have to give them to you once and they'll last. And with that, I'll say God bless and thank you for listening.
Oh, lovely. What a beautiful message. And Terry Louise's dad sounds like a lovely character. So that's really lovely. So I hope that Terry enjoyed that. As I was sitting here, I have a gentleman with me, and I also have a lady, but the gentleman stepped forward first. And he's saying, I just feel that there was there was a dementia problem here with him, and I feel that it didn't happen. Terry put silk flowers in his coffee.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Lovely piece of evidence there, and a lovely memory.
It's not like he's saying here, have them back, is it? No.
This gentleman, I feel, again, I'm getting all the emotional hands today. He suffered with dementia, but it didn't affect him until he was 75 or thereabouts. I just feel it was in his late 70s. And but he used to, I've got water in my eyes, and I feel that he would get very emotional about the past, and sometimes he would just cry. And I feel that he wants to reach out to his granddaughter, and I feel that he wants to wipe away her tears as well. And I just feel that he struggled a little bit, and I feel that he would have had issues with his hands, arthritic hands, and I feel there were issues with his legs, especially around his knees as well. And I feel that he struggled in later life to get around. And but I do feel the family helped him. I feel that the family helped him quite a lot to get out and about. And somebody in particular would have done his shopping for him. And I just feel that he just wants to reach out to give his love, to give his thanks. Manners were really important to him. Manners were really important to him. So I don't know if anybody can understand it as yet. If you can let me know. Please put your comments either if you're on TikTok or on Facebook and YouTube. But I've got a granddad here, and I know that he suffered with right. Okay, so Stephanie Ann. Oh my God, my dad was like that. He was very close to my daughter, has his hand shook, and I nursed him for a year. Okay. So would you understand, Stephanie Ann, that he wants to reach out to your daughter because he's coming through and saying granddad. So I just feel he wants to reach out to your daughter because I feel he's got his granddad hat on as well. And he's sort of, I feel that and my hands have gone very cold, and also Linda can understand this as well. Okay. And I just feel here that that he's showing me a beautifully laid table. Okay, she can't get over it. Stephanie, I'm gonna work with you because I do feel that makes sense, because he's coming through as a granddad because he wants to give love to your daughter. So he's showing me a beautiful white tablecloth with a lovely cruet set. You know, that's what the salt and pepper and everything's called, the old-fashioned word for it, cruet set on the table. And I feel that you sat there, you had to sit there sort of until, and it was like, please, may I leave the table? It was very old school. And I feel also that your daughter, you've instilled that in your daughter as well, or when he was around, that was instilled, and everybody had to wait until everybody had finished taste here of seafood. So I feel that he would have loved the prawns, the crab, the seafood, the fish, because I'm getting, and I can taste prawn cocktail in my mouth, which I love. So he's given me prawn cocktail, and I feel that there was like a fish supper because we've got all the fish on the table here. So I know that he would have enjoyed a good fish supper, and bread and butter. I've got plates of bread and butter he's showing me here as well. And I feel he would have had bread and butter with every meal, because I feel they used to do that years ago. And I've also got a lady that steps forward, and she's a very elegant lady. And she was the one also that it was manners as well, and etiquette. I feel she had a little bit of etiquette about her as well, but she's standing by his side, and I feel that she just wants to come a wheelchair towards the end of his life, because I feel that he's sitting down a lot. Right, okay, you can understand that. That's fabulous. So Mum had a lovely white tablecloth and was very like that. So I just feel that these two are together, and I feel the lady in spirit would have helped this gentleman. I feel that she's with him now. She's got him now. They are together, and she wants you to know that. She wants you to know that they are together in spirit, because I feel that question has been asked in the family. And I also feel, Stephanie, that I don't know if your daughter has been thinking about going, or you and your daughter have been thinking about going into a spiritualist church. I know you're here, but have you ever, all right, every Friday was Fish Friday, loved his bread and butter. The lady's my mum. I felt she used to tell him off if we got him a wheelchair at the end. Think to do about you going into a spiritualist church, because I do feel that your granddaughter has questions, and I do feel that she wants to find out a little bit more, and I feel that he's encouraging her to do this, because I also feel that healing is needed for your daughter, his granddaughter, and I do feel that he loves her to bits because she lit up his life when she was born. She sort of gave him the will to live, if that makes sense, because I do feel she came at the right time when he needed that upliftment and he needed that help. And she was like his little bright sparkle. She was the sparkle, his little star that that filled him with so much love. And she said it took years off him because he suddenly got excited. I'm getting excited, and I feel he loved to see her, and they spent a lot of time together, and I feel that she would listen to him, and but that he was losing it because he didn't want to lose it, because he just found his zest for life again when his granddaughter was born, and he suddenly started to lose his memory or forget things, and he really tried to overcome it because he wanted to live and he wanted to enjoy his life. He wants to say thank you to you for your understanding, and your love, and I just feel that he's around you and he just wants to draw close to you, and he loves you to bits, and especially her, and he really wants her to get back into her study, get back into picking up her life again, because it's almost as if she's sort of lost that will, and she's sort of not she's losing her motivation. That's what I want to say. She's losing her motivation, and he wants her to pick up that. And he knows that you work very hard, Stephanie Ann. You're juggling lots of plates in the air, and he said it's you that's the glue that holds the family together now. And he realizes that, he knows that there's been a lot of loss, because I do feel that there were two losses quite close together, and it was you that was sort of like juggling all the plates, sorting out all the family, and dealing with everything. And he's saying that you need a bit of a rest, and he wants you to book that holiday that you've been putting to one side. There's travel brochures or things on the side that you've been looking at, and you've just, oh, I can't, I've got too much to do. He said you've got to live your life, and you've got to enjoy your life. And your lovely daughter has got to find her sparkle, because her granddad loves her so much, and he loves you too, and he's so, so proud of you. And I just can't express how much love there is here, because I just feel completely goosebumps for you and your family. So take it all with abundance, and thank you for working with me.
Oh, wow. What take it all with abundance. That is just so, so gorgeous. And what a wonderful, wonderful message too. And the love is being shared on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok all the way throughout. It's been absolutely lovely. Nice to see Atomic Soul joined us, and
Yes.
of course the lovely Reverend Ashley Oliver. Good to see you, darling. One of our fellow cohorts
Yes.
on as a host on SPTV. I'm very much looking forward. We're gonna do a special service on the Sunday of Pentecost as well,
Oh, wow.
which is going to be absolutely awesome. But I totally agree with everyone. Such a beautiful reading, and that, I've got to say, there's some special meaning in that word for me. Whenever anyone finishes off with love in abundance, is so, so special. It was the first word I was ever given by Spirit to use to start off for philosophy. And so abundance will always have a really, really special place in my heart. Even though my guide did turn around and start making a couple of hot cross buns, have arms and legs, and do an actual dance.
That's a good one. I like that. Abundance.
It was a real bun dance. But yeah, that love in abundance it just paints a picture of absolute love and unconditional.
Yeah.
Stephanie Ann says she lost her motivation. I'm trying hard. Yes. My mum and dad passed quickly, and oh my God, I'm booking a holiday with my daughter. I can't wait to tell her. We was a close family. Thank you so much. Spiritual tissues and spiritual love to you, Stephanie, and we truly, truly hope that helps. And enjoy the holiday.
Yes.
Really, really do.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'm getting very, very scratchy today. I don't know why. But yes, it's been really, really, really exciting, strange, but brilliant. Oh yes, 21-21 for Kelly, because Kelly's all the way down in the southern hemisphere. And it's been an absolute pleasure today. It's been really, really weird, but it really does give you an appreciation of exactly what Richard has to go through every week to see these multiple streams of comments coming down. But you do kind of get used to it, don't you, Karen?
Well, it's sort of been a bit strange, but I am getting used to it. And now they're all singing on TikTok. Thanks to Neil.
Yeah. He's got that going. Charlie has just pointed out that where Charlie isn't, same here. It was 12:21, which of course is palindromic. I've got my words back. I've got my word. Thank you, of course, to Krish Pillay, who reminded me the word I was looking for was figurative. Isn't it strange how they shut you down on certain things, though?
Do you know what? I become extremely dyslexic when I'm teaching. I can't spell. When I go to the flip chart to write something, I can't spell, and I can spell, Yeah. And it's funny. I spell things incorrectly because I'm not with it.
It's quite worrying. I've always been a little bit dyslexic with numbers.
Yeah.
There is a certain part of it that is known for that. But I used to work in a retail environment where I was reading out order numbers to log on today because I was convinced that I was typing the right code in to come on Zoom. I wasn't. But I was thinking one number sequence and typing it in completely the opposite way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's also, I hate to say it, an age thing.
Well, yeah, but I've been doing that for the last 25 years, so I don't think I can blame the age on it, in all fair. But yes, I'm really quite enjoying the TikTok feed at the moment because we're all talking about palindromes.
Palindromic sequences. Oh my gosh.
Yes. A palindrome is a sequence of either letters or numbers that are mirrored. So like 1, 2, 2, 1, 12,
right,
21.
Yeah.
So I love my fancy words. Everyone moans at me for it. I'm not going to deny, but I love a big word now and again. And people say, "Oh, you must be very well educated to know all these fancy words." My English teacher would absolutely laugh at that comment. I got an E for English literature and an E for English language, but I made myself a promise that every day I would open up. Oh, bless you, Eunice. Tut tut, Karen. Age thing. I have no chance. Oh, you're fine. No, you'll outlive all of us, love. But yeah, I made it my quest. Every day I would read a word in a thesaurus and learn different words that mean the same thing. And I've done that every day since I actually left school.
Wow, I had a boss, Ray, my boss, who was wordy, really big word, a very big word person. And I used to plug in my headphones and type audio typing on the little cassettes. And we had a foot pedal, and I used to have to stop and press the foot pedal. God, I'm really showing my age now. This is really antiquated in this day and age. But I had to keep going back to listen to the tape because I couldn't understand or make sense of the words within his dictation. So I had a small dictionary and a thesaurus by the side of my computer to look up what the hell he was talking about, because I'm trying to make sense of everything in the context of this business contract or email or whatever, and I just couldn't. So I was forever looking through, and it did help me with my vocabulary as well. One of the words that used to brand about at work was a great word that my friend used to use was sycophantic.
Oh yes.
Oh, she's been so sycophantic.
Yes.
And of course that means sort of like a bit like creeping, being oh you're wonderful, and this sort of that and some of the things that my boss used to use. He used to use a lot of Latin in his letters and stuff, and I used to think, oh my God. So it was hard. It was hard.
Well, me and my granddad used to do the track word in the back of the Radio Times every Thursday when it would come out. We would race between the two of us to figure the 9-letter track word. And it was just something we used to do. And granddad loved, he'd say, let's get me Booktionary out and we'll look these things up. And he used to teach me words like flocky knocky nihili tillification and anti-disestablishmentarianism. So that was an interesting journey. But it's speaking of interesting journeys, it's been an absolutely interesting one today, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Once again, all of this new layout and everything really is a testament to what Richard's achieved for SPTV and giving another outlet for us. It's been wonderful watching the comments from all. Mum, I'm just a plain old fangirl, plain talking.
There's nothing, go, Linda, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You're absolutely fabulous in my book. So there you go.
Yes. And Atomic Soul has just said, is the lovely Richard here too? He is always great doing his program. He will be on tonight. He is in the background keeping us in check as best he can, bless his heart. He's been very, very quiet today because he hasn't fixed the sound, I believe, in terms of not being heard coming through the feed. They can hear me. There you go. He says hello. So for those that have been watching the whole show, we have been serenaded. We have been the attempted distraction of singing while we try and fill space while he's fixing it. And I am actually glad people can hear that, because it just shows that when we say we have fun when we come together, it proves it. And spiritualism and spirituality and mediumship is all about evidence and proof and understanding and of that knowledge and proof. And absolutely, it's proof that we really do have a great giggle and a great time coming together. Reverend Asher says, horrible feedback, maybe just my end on TikTok. No, I think there's a bit of that too, which is why, bless his heart, he's been working on it. But the fact Nick makes his own words up at times, yes, that has been known. If I can't think of a word for something, I'll make yes, I create to describe something that is very specific and like a term that would be used by someone called Eunice. And I stand by Euniceism as a word. And watch this space, 2025, it will be in the dictionary. Hashtag Euniceisms. But it's been an absolute pleasure coming together with Richard and, of course, with yourself, Karen, and everyone on. But sadly, our time is up and it's time to go, because Richard's got to go and put his makeup on and gargle his honey lemon so that he's ready for his show tonight.
Absolutely. And it's been wonderful to meet and greet all our wonderful TikTok family that has joined the SPTV family. And it's been so wonderful to be with you all. Thank you so much. It's been great. And it's brightened my day. It really has. You've all brightened my day. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'm Nick. She's Karen. Rich is in the background. We've all been live, and tomorrow, of course, we've got two wonderful shows with wonderful guests, so do join in for those two. But for now, we are being told it's time to say goodnight, for especially those down in the southern hemisphere. But for everyone else, have a wonderful day. God bless, and we'll see you soon.
God bless. Bye.